Hey guys, my name is V and his name is Agent Venom, so let's take a quick look at him. Alright, so today we're taking a look at one of the most badass symbiote characters in Marvel. Agent Venom, specifically the Hot Toys figure that we have right here in front of us. Beautiful. Alright, now before we get into the figure itself, let's talk about who Agent Venom actually is. Because if you only know Venom from the movies, this is a very different character. So, Agent Venom is Flash Thompson, the same Flash Thompson who was Peter Parker's longtime school bully, if you didn't know, but Flash's story eventually takes a completely different direction. After losing his legs while serving in the military, Flash becomes bonded with the Venom symbiote, unlike Eddie Brock. Flash is able to use the symbiote in a much more controlled way, combining its abilities with his military training, and that's where we get Agent Venom. So, instead of the traditional giant monster look, Agent Venom is essentially a military operator enhanced by the Venom symbiote. He has the tactical gear, the weapons, the training, but underneath all of that, you still have the alien symbiote. And honestly, that combination is what makes Agent Venom such a cool character. So now let's get into the actual figure. Right out of the box, the first thing that stands out to me is the overall presence. This isn't your traditional Spider-Man figure. Agent Venom has a much heavier tactical appearance, and Hot Toys did a really good job capturing all of that. Alright, now getting into accessories, we have a large variety of accessories. So if you see him here, I'm displayed with his little SMG, little mag that plugs right into there. He has pistols here as well, and his symbiote tendrils with spiked bits here. They're fully flexible with wires inside of them, allowing you to pose them however you want. So over here you also have gripping hands for all four tendrils, as well as spiky bits for all four tendrils as well. He has a sniper rifle as well. I don't know why I did this. I just really like this pose, having it held up like that. He also comes with a LMG, a second SMG, and ammunition for said LMG. So if I just take, oh boy. Sorry about that. Alright, so you can just pop the ammunition right in there. You can lock everything up if you'd like to, just like so. So we're going to flip this little tab up, stick the ammunition right in there. Got a stand right there. There's a lot of moving parts on here. A lot of this stuff I'm not sure the actual purpose of, so don't fry me in the comments if anything. You have this piece. This always comes off for me. I'm guessing it's another handle. You have a little pullback feature right there. Be careful, just because when you're pulling it back, you're kind of pulling it away. It doesn't feel like it's going to break. It feels like the material is sturdy enough, but you know, I'd say be careful as well. Just cause. So lock everything in place here, and the scope is fully removable as well. I've only done it once, and I'm not gonna lie, since then I never did it again. It was a very, very tedious little task to put back on. So yeah, that's that for the LMG. So let me I'll just grab the SMG I have over here. For the SMG, we have a little mag, pops right in there. His little reload, boom, boom. Boom. You reload it. There are little bullets in there. They do not come out. There's a little metal detail in there. Here, let me zoom in so we could really get a good look at this. It's honestly such a beautiful weapon. And give me one moment. I'm going to take that sniper rifle away from him. Okay, jumping right back in. Here we have his sniper rifle. Now, let me actually get closer into the light box here. Alright, so now we actually have some light in here. I'm going to just zoom in a bit. So we're going to fold that out. There's a little magnet, looks like that kind of holds this in place. If we can get this to focus. You have a full action sniper rifle here. It has a little spring in there. The scope on this is also removable, or slide it back and forth wherever you so please. As for any other moving parts, none that I know of. Now you can remove the mag. And there is a little bullet in there. So that is pretty cool. And then now, I'm just gonna steal one of his pistols here. And as you can see, they're holstered right there. Pull them out. He has these beautiful deagles. For the deagles, you can remove the mag from here as well. And then cock it back. You see the bullet right down there. Do need to get a better lighting situation going on here. I'm sorry about this. But it is pretty cool. It does not have a spring or anything, so you can get him in some cool poses, kind of reloading or out of ammo or something like that. I really do like that. So if I just back in there, and boom, there you go. And then these pieces right here are just on, little gun holsters are just on little elastic bands. You probably can remove them if you so please. Same thing with the tendrils. Now I have the tendrils in, as you can see, but if for whatever reason you don't want the tendrils in, he does come with these 3 little panels that we'll go into in a bit that also plug into his back to kind of keep everything covered up. And as we went over, he does have these little spiky bits for each hand. So you get a close up of that. Plug that back in. And then each hand, or sorry, tendril, has a left and right trigger hand. Now, the trigger hands for the left hand are both exactly the same. And then a different mold that is exactly the same for the right hands. So that's pretty cool. Now for whipping, I know that most people probably won't have their Agent Venom in any whipping poses, at least not to my knowledge. He does have this long web here, which to me feels a little short, but I mean, it's Hot Toys. You know, just a web that they usually come with. It does have a bendy wire in it. I don't think I've used it at all for any kind of poses for my Agent Venom personally. But if you have any cool poses that you have off the top of your head, that's pretty cool. And then he also comes with this very, very short version of it as well. This one, in my opinion, has even less uses. Just is way too short. Now for this, we're going to go into the hands in a second here. If you do want to plug them in, they do plug right into his fisted hands at the top, like so. So I think that is pretty cool. Now, his gun trigger hands do not have those little flippers, and he does have these open clawed hands as well, which you do not have those flippers as well. As you can see, he does have little claws. But yeah, so you don't have another piece to plug in there. And as for the eyes, right now I have him with these really stunning kind of hunter eyes, but if you wanted to swap them out, you just pull them off like that. They're magnetic, and just boom, boom. Or even if you wanted to kind of get a mix match thing going on here, boom, kind of get a little squint. No swap out heads or anything like that for him, but these eyes are pretty cool. So yeah, let me see what else we have here for accessories. I don't know how I could have forgotten this. We also do get a blade arm. This blade arm is only good for his left hand. So, it's just a gauntlet. You take off his hand, and then you swap the gauntlet on there. Let me see if we can get a little bit in there. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Got a little bit of silver paint detail in there as well. So yeah, this is pretty cool. The only accessory that we have left to go over is, just give me one moment, a display stand. Now, it comes with this really nice display stand with little bullet hole effects in it and everything. It looks pretty cool. It has his name on there, a little placard, nothing really on the back. Just says 2025 Hot Toys, Marvel, everything like that. It comes with this little waist clip. I will not be using this, but they do have these little soft inserts to try to kind of prevent it from damaging the figure. And of course, he does have the actual stem itself. It isn't solid, you can bend it, but you know, I don't really care to be using these stands. For the most part, I do keep him in box, if I'm being completely honest, but sometimes I like to pull him out, and I just don't use the stand. Now, let's get into what I'd say is probably the most important part, the articulation. So, for me, because the figure can look incredible in the box, but if you can't actually pose it, what's the point? Now, this figure's articulation throughout the body, including, let me just get a hold of him. Actually, I'm gonna swap out his hand. Just gonna give him one claw hand just to kind of switch up just a little bit. Alright, we're on there. As you see, they're kind of just pegged in. So, like I was saying, he has articulation throughout the body. He has shoulder articulation, of course. You know. Elbows. You see the creasing in the fabric there. Wrist articulation. Up, down, on a ball joint there. Let me back him up a little bit. And for articulation in the arms, we can go up just about this high before we're really stretching the fabric. Then we could bring it all the way back, just about that far back. Now we're kind of pushing it a little bit there. And elbow bend comes up to there. He does have bicep swivel, so you can go all the way to the left, all the way to the right. Don't recommend doing this, because as you can see, he does get a little worn in there. That's fine. And then we're gonna bring his arm all the way up and go up just about that high. Sorry, let me, gonna have to back this up just a little more so you can really see how high we're getting here. Just about there. And you can I believe there's a drop down or something here. Oh, and there you go. His gauntlets do come off. All right. And of course, same thing applies to the other side. So if you were to put on that scythe arm, whatever you may call it, we're going to pop that on there really quick. Kind of just got to wiggle it in there. Well, it's a little cumbersome to get it properly all the way situated in there, just because of the sleeve that we're kind of working with here, and this part right here kind of pinches on it. So if we're really trying to get in there, you kind of have to push it into the socket there. It's a little annoying, but it is doable. But there you go. I mean, it's a thing that you can do. All right, moving on. Okay, it's a little better. Now, for his torso, we're gonna really get in here. If I knock over the camera one more time, though, I'm gonna be really upset. So he has a little bit of a crunch there. And he can come back just about that much. So not a lot of range in the torso. It does have waist articulation, so it can go just about that much this way. And let me actually take the tendrils off because it kind of get in the way. And they kind of just pop in and out. So you can turn this much this way. Bring it back around, this much this way. So we can see again, down just about this much. Anything more, I'm pretty much forcing it. And then up just about that much. So the torso feels the most limited to me, which I kind of feel like is kind of like his biggest fault. But because as you can see, if I go here, his leg can go up this high. He can actually kick pretty high as well. Back, you're not really doing any butt kicks, but we got some knee action going on over there. Oh, you can actually bring it back just a little bit more. The legs on little ball joints as well. The foot. And of course, his head is on a, let me see if we can actually get in there, really show this off. Head can look up just about that much before you pop his head off. Let me see if I can get him any higher than that. I feel like I can. Alright, so this is just about as high as you're going to be getting his, and I'm zoomed all the way out. So this is just about as high as you're going to get him looking up. And he can look down just about that much before he hits his little armor guard right there on his neck. Got some little tilt action. Side. This side. Head can rotate all the way around. Ignore the fact that I just took out one of his eyes. And yeah, I mean, let's get down into the closer details. So from toe to head, we're gonna go all the way up to his dome piece. And as you can see, looking at his dome, you can see his head is plastic. There's a lot of nice details, eyebrow wrinkles, a little bit of wrinkles down at the mouth and where the nose should be. Seam lines for the mask as well. And the head sculpt is really nice on this. Here you have this nice plastic, rubbery, like concrete textured spiky bits here. These are sharp. Same thing with the on saw arm. These spikes are sharp. They're ever so slightly bendy. Not enough for you to not hurt yourself. I mean, like, I feel like if I poked this hard enough, I probably could hurt myself a little bit. Nothing severe though. And his actual bodysuit is made out of this really nice like pleather. There's no squish to him or anything like that. but you can see the material here. I don't know how well this will hold up over time. It kind of feels like something that if I kept them in a pose, it will start creasing up and getting nasty. As you see right under here, this bodysuit right here is still kind of traveling over this similar design there. The hands are just regular plastic. Armor on the arms is also this hard, rubbery plastic. The holster's soft, elastic for the holsters. Still bodysuit, very nicely painted all around though. Mags, these do not open or anything. And just the belt, I'm pretty sure you can take that off if you so please. I'm not sure why you would. Should come down to the knees. Repeating the spikes all the way down to these boots. Now, I don't know if I went over it in the articulation segment, but the toes are not articulated. This is a solid piece of plastic, but God, do those boots look nice. So let's take a look at the back here. So let's make our way up. The design and the pattern does continue onto the back where we have this gorgeous Agent Venom logo here. Now, like I said before, we do have these little pieces that kind of just plug in, cover it up. So this one goes with this one. Boom. And let me see if I can do this one-handed. I swear I'm working on getting a tripod. Kind of rotate that back in there. And then for the final touch, you have this right here. Boom. And honestly, does a really good job of just concealing those seam lines. And just, it's so nice. He has a nice, strong back profile to him. Very, like, identifiable. You know this is Agent Venom. You know he's gonna get shit done. Very, very cool character. Now, I will say though, if I were to get into anything else, I think for the texturing of everything, some of these materials could have been either a little more different or a little more allowing for articulation. So I like the armored aspect of the top half. I wish we did something here because the way that this kind of splays open does give him more presence, but I feel like it should be cinched. And I thought maybe it's just my copy, but no, that's just what he looks like, you know. So he does have this like flab just here. I kind of wish it was more so part of the body rather than it being an external piece, because now it just looks like, you know, cosplay. But yeah, let's get into some size comparisons. Okay, so for a size comparison, we're going to grab a McFarlane Batman. Yes, this is the first size comparison of choice. I mean, obviously he's a completely different scale, but just so you have an idea, if you have any McFarlane figures in your collection, there he is. He is massive compared to him. All right. Next up, for Transformer fans, just because that's going to be more so what we'll be focusing on this channel. Probably going to be looking at a lot more Transformers after this. I'm going to put in the Transformers Legacy Cyberverse Tarn. And once again, Agent Venom towers over him, of course, but there you go. There's your size comparison there. For probably best representation, not just size comparison, but if we were to compare the two, Marvel Legends Agent Venom. This figure right here is the reason I ended up going out of my way and going through with buying this Agent Venom. I have Spider-Man Hot Toys 2099 black suit version, and they are just about the same height. I want to say that Agent Venom has ever so slightly much more height than him. Let me see if I can get this Spider-Man 2099 to be a little more flat. Oh, yeah. Agent Venom is taller. Now, one thing that bothers me at this scale, though, is he just looks a little out of place. He looks bigger, wider, but he almost looks like he should be towering over this Spider-Man we have right over to his right. And kind of noticed that when I put him next to other Hot Toys, he just seemed a little more out of place. And honestly, when it really comes down to it, final thoughts on the Agent Venom is like, I think Agent Venom is a really interesting addition to a Hot Toys collection of any kind, because it gives you something that you don't get from the traditional Venom design, like if we're just going based off of that. And I'm big on posing. I'm big on posable action figures. For me, he just doesn't do it. However, you get this such cool look. You have the military aesthetic, the symbiote elements, the weapons, a really aggressive silhouette. And the accessories give you a lot of options for posing to kind of make up for the articulation. So you can kind of take advantage of that. So if you're a fan of like Flash Thompson for whatever reason, Venom, Spider-Man, or just military-inspired Marvel designs period, I think that this is going to be a perfect figure for you. For me personally, the biggest appeal here is just how different he looks from other symbiotes, and also just really that military design. Like, you know, he has his own identity. You could definitely tell he's Venom, like his own Venom look to him. I love the inverted eyes. You know, and this is also, I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, this is also my first proper review-ish kind of, so I'm sorry if I'm like kind of jumping from topic to topic, but I feel like this figure was a good starting point for me, just because he's a character that I really have a love-hate relationship with, you know? I love looking at him, I love pulling him out of the box, you know, messing with his accessories, messing with him and everything, but I just feel like the poses that I can get him in just aren't doing it for me. But then again, him just standing there, I feel like, is probably the best part about him. But anyway, oh, there's a fly. But anyway, that's it for this time. V signing out. Give me your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Tell me what you think of the figure, and I'll catch you guys soon.